Welcome everybody back to another episode of Weekly Thoughts. It's about dang time, you know. I always wait for this night to come around every single week so that I can do this. Don't really got much anything for the other parts of the week, so we're going to try and add more series to talk about some more things, and that'll just come with time and everything like that. So today we're going to be talking about quite a bit, actually. We'll be talking about the top 3 duos in the NBA. One of them might surprise you. Talking about the best lineup possible with every single player in the NBA. If they were all eligible in free agency, what would be the best lineup we could possibly make? It's like a fantasy draft. NBA coaches under the most pressure. It's not in any particular order, but these are the 5 coaches that will be under the most pressure this year. The biggest boom and bust, NBA and NFL rookies. It's boom or bust for a lot of these guys. And the NBA is where we get bold, and I'll tell you why. And then we also say the most underrated pick. For the NFL, it's out of the first round. For the NBA, it's out of the top 10 picks. Sorry. And then that is about it. And then we'll talk about a little bit of the NFL guys, and then we'll be done. So, top 3 duos in the NBA. The 2 that most people are talking about right now is Bron and AD and Kawhi and PG. But not to undermine the fact that Kyrie and KD are now a duo. That there's no undermining that. That being said, LeBron and Anthony Davis are number 1 and 2. Straight up, they are the top. They're 2 of the top, possibly top 5 players in the NBA. And Anthony Davis is going to absolutely show out now. He's still younger than Buddy Hield and Malcolm Brogdon. So that should scare you. Talking about development and everything like that. Mm-hmm. That being said, who's second? And it's super close. It really is. It's super close. Honestly, they're interchangeable. They're both in LA. The second best duo is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, obviously. I think this is obvious. I think Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the NBA. But barely. LeBron, I'm still taking LeBron right next to him. But Kawhi is, in fact, the best player in the NBA. And then you add Paul George, who was an MVP candidate, a defensive superstar, as well as an offensive talent. 28 points per game is not something to shy away about. That's fantastic. So these 2 on the same team, this is going to be the best defensive duo in the league, no doubt, not even close. It's going to be the best defensive team in the NBA, not even close. They have the best coach in the league, Doc Rivers. I know this is bold, and I like to say it. Either way, Doc Rivers is the best coach in the league. Straight up. So next, there's one more duo that has been flying completely under the radar. And I don't know why, because they've been so dominant over the past 5 years that you'd think that no matter what, they'd be a top duo in the league. And among all these moves to where we've seen a bunch of new duos like Kyrie and KD, LeBron and AD, Paul George and Kawhi, we've seen so many of these big fun moves that you're like, oh, they're the best now, they're the best now, they're the best now, because of the fact that they're so fun to see and so fun to watch. And now we're going to one that's boring because we've seen it before, and we've seen it constantly over the past 5 years. This duo is Klay and Steph. They're not going to miss a step while Klay Thompson's out. The fact is, Klay Thompson's game doesn't need him to move that much. So even with a torn ACL, he's going to come back fine. He's going to come back just as well, if not better. And Klay and Steph are still a top 3 duo in the league. They might still be the best. We have not seen them with each other, with all these duos in the league, we have not seen them. They might still be the best. And I think it's crazy. I'm a big Warriors hater, and if you watch Preston in my videos from a while back, you know I'm a Warriors hater. But these guys are so good. Two of the best three-point shooters of all time. I think that Steph is number 1, and Klay's right there at number 3 or 2. He's right there with Ray Allen. So I think it's not gonna be. They're so good, and so it's crazy how people don't think that there's still a top duo in the league. Next, we're gonna be making the best NBA lineup possible, and this one is kind of fun because here we get to see the best player at each position, and then I just say the next best player. So number 1 at the 1, point guard position, a guy that I think by the end of his career will be the best player at his position of all time. I think that Steph Curry will be the best point guard of all time by the end of his career. It'll obviously be a debate. Nobody is going to pass Magic Johnson without a huge debate. So Steph is going to make his way up there and might eventually pass him, and I do think he will. He's one of the most dominant players of all time, and he's not even Shaq's size, which I find is crazy. Nobody can stop him. So let's move forward in that. Who's at number 2? And honestly, guys, I'm a huge Dwayne Wade fan. I'm a huge Kobe fan. I'm a huge Michael Jordan fan even. Those are the top 3 shooting guards of all time. Dwayne Wade is my favorite player of all time. That being said, Harden's going to pass him. He might even pass Kobe. Harden is the most prolific scorer in the NBA today. Harden is the most prolific scorer since we've seen since prime Kobe, since prime Tracy McGrady. He's able to score in so many ways that it's just crazy. Harden is the best shooting guard in the league, and it's not even close. Name another shooting guard. Bradley Beal, he's great. He's not there. Klay Thompson, he's great. He's not there. CJ McCollum, he's great. He's not there. He's the best shooting guard in the league, and it's not even going to be close. Small forward. Even though he's injured, I am going – this is healthy. Everybody's healthy, completely healthy. It's Kevin Durant. I'm a huge Kevin Durant hater too. You guys know. I think he ruined the NBA when he moved to the Warriors. He's gone now. He got a lot of respect from me when he played. While he was hurt, he got a lot of respect from me. I can't hate on him anymore. And I'm not even being biased. Kevin Durant is one of the best scorers the league has ever seen. He's so efficient. He moves so easily. So I think he's a shoo-in for this. He's a top player in the league. I hope he comes back the same because I'll be sad if I have to miss him play so much. I would hate it. Let's move on. This power forward, and people that are probably at home, you guys know I love LeBron. You're like, where's LeBron? You know, small forward, point guard even. LeBron is my power forward. I think he's strong enough, and I think he'll play fine there. LeBron is my power forward all day. And honestly, I actually had a lot of debate on who is the center. I'm still putting LeBron at the power forward. Who is the center? Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't normally a center, and I was really contemplating putting Joel Embiid there, but I think it's not even close. Joel Embiid, Giannis came out and said, there's nobody in the league that can stop me. And then Joel Embiid took that challenge and got destroyed. Giannis had 4 blocks just on Embiid and absolutely bodied him in the post. So I don't think anybody's stopping Giannis in the post. He's the strongest player in the league right now. And he will remain that way. I think he's the closest thing to Shaquille O'Neal that we will ever see again, especially seeing how the league is trending. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the closest thing to Shaquille O'Neal we're going to see for the rest of my life, for the rest of your life probably. Especially the way the league is trending, shooting more, spacing the floor, everything like that. There are not going to be very many dominant centers anymore. So then let's move on to 6th man. And I really had a tough time with that. Do I put Joel Embiid here? Do I put Joel Embiid on the sixth-man spot? Fact is, no. We have a lot of shooting on the offense, so it would make sense to put a center like him. But there's somebody I forgot. Anthony Davis. I know he had an off year, averaging 26 points per game and 12 rebounds. That's not an off year, but okay. There was a lot of drama with him about wanting to be traded, so I think that took over like his legacy at this point to where he's not viewed as a top player anymore, and that's just wrong. That's just dead wrong. He's a top player in the league still. He will be for a long time. So Anthony Davis is better than Joel Embiid, and he's somebody I'd want to have as my sixth man in this situation. Would the chemistry work out? No chemistry issues. This is what we're taking. It's fine. Now, NBA coaches under the most pressure. This is in no particular order, but I will say the number one guy is right now Frank Vogel, and he hasn't even had a starting gig for a while, and he hasn't even started with the Lakers in terms of playing games. Frank Vogel is under the most pressure to succeed, especially with LeBron freaking James on your team. When Walton was their coach, he did not succeed with LeBron James as your star player. Any team in the league who is run with a normal coach can make the playoffs off LeBron. When the Lakers didn't, it was a time to take a hard look at their coaching. Luke Walton and the supporting cast around LeBron, which is why I think it was so easy for them to ship so many pieces to New Orleans, is because they knew they were not the supporting cast for LeBron. Now they have a great one with a lot of shooters and another star player next to him. I don't think that LA lost that trade. They did give up a lot for Anthony Davis, but, I mean, you're getting 10 years of Anthony Davis, so I don't think that's really your concern right now. So the rest are in no particular order. Billy Donovan. This guy has been under the most scrutiny over the past few years. He was a great college coach. Then he decided to make the transition to the NBA. And was that the best decision? Probably not. There are a lot of college coaches that would translate to the NBA in terms of how they coach and what their play style is. But Billy Donovan is not one of them, especially when you have a player named Russell Westbrook on your team. Get a coach that can manage, I should say. Eric Spoelstra is great at that. You know, a guy that's not good at that, Brad Stevens, who's another guy under a lot of pressure. He's in the top 5. He did not succeed with Kyrie Irving as a centerpiece, and he bid a lot on that. He had a great supporting cast. Al Horford is nothing to joke around about. A great player. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Gordon Hayward. He had so much, and they couldn't succeed. So if they can't succeed with Enes Kanter and Kemba Walker as their centerpiece, as well as Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, everybody like that, I do think they need to get a more starter-worthy center, I should say, over Enes Kanter. But, I mean, what you going to do, honestly? Then, as well, I already said Frank Vogel, Brad Stevens, and Billy Donovan. Steve Kerr, he does now have D'Angelo Russell. And that's fantastic. D'Angelo Russell's going to grow so much this year, I can already tell. He's playing next to Steph freaking Curry, for heaven's sakes. So, how is that going to work, though, with a 2-guard set? And then when Klay Thompson comes back, what are we talking about there? A 3-guard set? You know you're going to get scored on a lot, but that means you also know you're going to score a lot as well. So Steve Kerr, how he manages the situation with D'Angelo Russell, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, that is completely to him. He hasn't shown us that he can win without star players. He still has D'Angelo Russell, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green. So if they don't get a top 3 seed without Klay Thompson, because they still have a big 3, if they don't get a top 3 seed without Klay Thompson, it's going to – how good of a coach is Steve Kerr really? Really. I don't doubt him. I think he's a great coach. But I do think that he is under a lot of pressure to make this work this year. And the last coach, Mike D'Antoni. D'Antoni. Sorry. He has a lot to deal with this year with Russell Westbrook and James Harden on the same backcourt and the same roster, on the same starting lineup. Oh, there's a reason James Harden got traded from the Thunder. They found Russell Westbrook to be a bigger centerpiece with Kevin Durant than James Harden with Russ or James Harden with KD. So they didn't want to pay him the big bucks because he wasn't worth it at that point. So they shipped him out because they thought Russell Westbrook was worth more. So Russell Westbrook is now in the same backcourt as him. James Harden's the better player right now. But we've all seen how much Russell Westbrook keeps the ball. And last year, Harden played so much ISO ball. So how is that going to translate to two players who love to play ISO ball? D'Antoni needs to manage that situation with perfection for this duo to work. They're great friends. I think they're going to get along. That being said, how are they going to play? They're going to get along, but as soon as they step on the court, there's going to be fights, I guarantee it. There's going to be at least one fight. So D'Antoni has a really tall task ahead of him when it comes to managing that situation with Russell Westbrook and James Harden. So I'm kind of scared to say these. The boom or bust NFL and NBA rookies. I'm kind of scared to say the bust one because nobody's going to agree with me. He's the most hyped athlete coming out of college, coming into the NBA since LeBron James, or Kevin Durant, or Greg Oden even, or Dwight Howard when he was coming into the league. So, Ja Morant is the biggest boom. I think he's the most bust-proof. To be completely honest with you, I think he's bust-proof. I think he's going to be great for them, honestly. And I think he's bust-proof. He's going to be the best player from this draft class, not even joking. The biggest boom – okay, so this isn't – he's not the most likely to be a bust. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's a boom or bust for him. Because if he's not a boom, he will be labeled as a bust because of the expectations put on him. It's not fair. It's not fair at all. That being said, it's how it is. So Zion Williamson is the biggest boom or bust. So he is – I do label him under the bust category because if he does not produce, then he will be labeled as a bust. If he produces 15 and 10 his whole career, he will still be labeled as a bust, I'm guessing. He has so much hype to be one of the best players of all time. And if he changes his game, I'm sure he'll be fine. But 285 pounds, 300 pounds on those knees, jumping that high, that hard, that fast, I give him 8 years on those knees. 27 years old, I think he has to change his game or else he's not going to play much longer. The most underrated pick from this draft, this NBA draft, was Kobe White. Kobe White. And this guy's amazing. He will be great. He has a lot of potential. So he will be good off the bat. I think he's a good 14-5 guy for them right away. But I'm seeing in his prime 24-10, 24-8. Sorry. So he's going to be an all-star in his prime easily. I think he's going to be great. I think he's the next Bulls great point guard. So, yeah. Boom in the NFL. Who has the biggest boom? This is boom or bust, honestly. But I do think he will boom. It's boom or bust for this guy because he has to produce. He just has to. DK Metcalf, I do think he will boom rather than bust. But this is way less bold, I'm not going to lie, this NFL portion. He will boom rather than bust, but there is a big shot for him to bust, but he has to produce. With Doug Baldwin gone, he has to. Next, Daniel Jones is the bust. I don't think it's even, like, a joke. Like, he's a bust. He's not going to produce as well as the Giants are hoping. I don't think he's going to be able to bust around the league because everybody knows, like, as a sane analyst, I know that he's not going to be amazing. I think he can be good. I think he can be fairly good. I think he can be a 1, maybe 2-time, maybe 3-time even Pro Bowler. I think he's going to be a lot like Mitch Trubisky. He's going to be raw. And then he'll progress his game. He will ceiling 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Floor, obviously, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. So, yeah, Daniel Jones. And then underrated pick, which I haven't heard anybody talk about. N'Keal Harry, Patriots wide receiver. And I think he's in the perfect situation. Tom Brady throwing to you, I don't think he's going to revive it right away. I think he's going to be more of a guy for Jarrett Stidham. Tom Brady's obviously on the tail end of his career. He can't make the crazy throws anymore. That being said, we're going to see him make good throws. I mean, it's nothing going to be crazy. Tom Brady, he's just a winner. So, yeah, that's it for the episode. Thank you guys for watching this long one. Actually, I believe it actually was fairly long, at least almost 20 minutes, if not already 20 minutes. So sorry to keep you for so long. Great episode of Weekly Thoughts. Thank you guys for watching.